Peace, YouTube. What's going on? Peace, all my NBA fans. Shout out to my Knicks fans. It been real. Last time we spoke, I was gassed up thinking that we might get Zion. Was talking about the NBA draft last year. Was hoping that we was gonna get Kevin Durant and Kyrie, and they played us. Kyrie hurt me. That's fam. He's from the BX. My pops and his pops, his peoples. You know, I don't want to say nothing too negative about Kyrie, but I'm tight with you, fam. I'm hurting. I can't believe you played the Knicks in New York to go play for Brooklyn. No disrespect to Brooklyn. I fuck with Brooklyn, the borough, but not the team, fam. Not the team. I'm never going to get over the fact that they named that team Brooklyn instead of New York. That was divisive and that was whack. They tried to capitalize on the name of Brooklyn, and for that, I will never support them. I'm a New Yorker. We all together. That's what makes New York special. You know, it's a melting pot. For them to go, that's like the Yankees being the Bronx Yankees or the Mets being the Queens Mets. You're taking away everybody else's rooting interests. But that's a separate issue. Fuck the Nets. My Knicks, man. We got RJ Barrett. Got to get back to that real quick. I did call that. I told you if we ended up with him, I wouldn't be upset because he was actually projected to be the number one pick before Zion. And then, things changed. Now, we're going to fast forward to the present. Kevin Knox, RJ. We got a lot of young guys on the team with potential. I know a lot of people was not feeling Knox, but I got to say this. If y'all having all this patience for Frank, y'all need to calm down about Knox. It's not fair. I noticed that. Same thing with Dennis Smith Jr. Y'all getting on Dennis Smith Jr. Y'all be on some bullshit. Y'all ain't got no patience. We got like 3-point guards that we got two in the G League that might be good. We'll never know because y'all so hard on the players that the staff is probably afraid to bring these cats up because we don't know if they're going to be able to handle the crowd. They ain't even playing basketball at this point. Dennis Smith Jr., it's crazy how everybody turned on him. I'm really upset about that. I think that's trash. New York Knicks fans, we too fickle sometimes. We got to be a lot more patient, man. James Dolan gets a bad rap, man. Don't any of us know him personally, so I don't understand why people take such a judgmental position on James Dolan when the reality is, we should be paying attention to how he spends his money and what he does with the team. And he tries. Everything doesn't work out. We're not the only team that things don't work out for us. But we the most scrutinized team. We under the biggest microscope. We got everybody all in our business. Everybody watching, looking for any move we make so they can make a big story and make it sound negative. We got to stop falling for that. We got to start being more supportive of the Knicks the way we are with the Yankees. We got to hold them down, man. I'm tired of y'all fake, fickle Knicks fans getting mad every time we fall short or we fail. That happens. There's teams that never won anything in sports. Look at us. We haven't won a chip in like 45 going on 50 years. We haven't won a chip since I've been born. I'm 46. All right, so that says a lot about my loyalty to the team because that's another thing I noticed. We not loyal to players, and then some of y'all questionable, when it comes to your loyalty to the team. That got to stop. So now back to what I was saying about the young players that we have. We do have some young players with potential, but we need to be patient with them. Now that we have a new coach and he's been focusing on hiring people to develop the players, and we have a developmental program finally besides the G League, I think that we need to give Frank and Dennis Smith a little more time. I think the trade that we're hearing about with Julius Randle being traded for Mike Conley or using him to get Chris Paul is actually a good idea. I think that we should trade for a veteran point guard, let Dennis Smith rebound, let Frank find a place because he's not a shooter, he's not a scorer, but he can play defense, so he's going to always have a spot in the NBA. But let's see what Frank's niche can be on the offensive end. It's not fair for Dennis Smith Jr. to have people like Frank or Julius Randle that he has to kick the ball out to and they can't shoot when he penetrates because he's a penetrator. We got the kind of guard we need, but the reality is his numbers don't look that well under the situation and circumstances that we've been putting them in. I think Dennis Smith Jr. will be a very good point guard for us going forward in the future. His athleticism is second to none. Let's be honest, first of all. And he can learn to play the game, especially if someone like Chris Paul and Mike Conley comes. He can learn to be a lot more cerebral. Also, too, the developmental staff that we were lacking before, that we now have, will probably help him tremendously. Especially with Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau is the kind of coach that he brings the best out of players. I'm glad we got him. I ain't gonna lie. And then Woodson is back too. That's exactly what we needed. Some stable father figures, but they know what they're doing. And when they speak to you, they know how to speak to you, and they know how to get results. I'm cool with that. And I think the players will identify with that, and I think they'll get results. Also, I think we got to chill with the Mitch Robinson. I got mad love for him. I like him. But let's be honest, man. He's a steal. But if we can use him to get that second draft pick, we should do that. Because we still don't know what Mitch is going to turn into. He has a lot of development that he still needs to go through before we can actually depend on him. I don't even know if he's really a corner. He's a very talented player. He has a high ceiling. His floor right now is a decent floor. You know where he's at right now. If he stays this way, he's a good player to have on your team. But there's a lot of players that can do what he does, except for his ability to block shots the way he does, especially on the perimeter. The way he's blocking guards, three-point attempts and stuff like that, that is special. But we don't know if he's going to develop further offensively. He has no post moves. And he can't just get oops and putbacks. That's not going to do it all the way unless we do what I'm talking about next. If we don't trade Mitch and we keep him and we keep the squad we have, I don't think we should draft a point guard. If we can't get the second pick, I'm not going to lie. I think we should go with Okoye, or we should go with Obi Toppin. We should get a defensive player that we know we're going to get right away and that he can come in, fit in, have a role to play, and go forward from there. Or get a low post scorer like Obi Toppin who also can shoot. Because that's the kind of complementary player I think that will help Mitchell Robinson, and I think that will help our offense be a lot more balanced and effective. If you got someone also that can catch the rock in the post or on the wing, in the baseline when DSJ is penetrating or when the ball is being swung around, you got somebody that could take that shot or be a threat enough to where the defense has to respect his shot and he can penetrate and either draw a foul or score. So I don't know about getting another point guard because we actually have point guards on our team. It's just that y'all not being patient. Y'all not giving these kids a chance to develop. And we always do this. We get players that are young, that have potential. It happened with Isaiah Thomas. All of y'all talk shit about Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is the reason why we ended up getting out of this shit and we are where we are today. We were able to get Carmelo and all the things that we have going on positive. It all started with Isaiah Thomas and the young players that he got for us. And you weren't patient with them. Remember Trevor Ariza? I'm not gonna bring up anybody else. Ariza is the main one that pissed me off. Look what he turned out to be. Look at what happened with Gallinari. Now we know that didn't happen on Isaiah's watch and stuff, but I'm just saying the Knicks have a history of giving up on young guys, and then they go somewhere else and they develop and they become an intricate part of success. That's something that we can have translate here if we just be patient. If the fans and the market calm down a little bit. That being said, you never know. DSJ might be another Donovan Mitchell. I'm not reaching. It's there. You can see the talent is there. The ability is there. He just needs development. And the Knicks haven't been giving players that. I don't even know if we ever had that. Other teams like San Antonio, Miami, you could clearly even look at Utah. Look at the way Utah drafts. Look how they draft, the type of players they draft, and look what they end up turning into. So the staff that Thibodeau has, the direction that we're headed in, and the options that we have, I'm very comfortable. It really hurt me last year when we didn't get Zion, but I am very happy to have RJ Barrett as a consolation prize, and I said that, like I said last year. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is that this draft is important. But before we even think about the draft, the coaching staff needs to get with the players. They need to have some practices. They need to see what they got, who's going to do what, because we have a new coach. We have a new, no, the entire staff is actually new. So it's a new culture right now that's about to be developed. It may not be wise to give up on certain people. And I mean, what's the difference between the people we have here now and getting new people coming in when everyone will still have to adjust to a new culture that is here? So I like LaMelo Ball. I like Devin Vassell, Hallenberg. We need a shooter. If we're gonna get if we're not gonna take Obi Toppin or a defensive specialist, we need a shooter. We need someone that can shoot. So once again, when our guards penetrate, this is why also Julius Randle had situations where, don't get me wrong, we know about the spin that never wins. We know about all of that. But there's also the fact that you have to have confidence in who you're going to pass the ball to. So we saw a lot of times Julius was refusing to pass the ball, but that's because there wasn't really nobody hitting shots. We got Elfrid Payton. He didn't hit no shots. Damn, what's that dude's name, man? I can't think of the other shooter we got. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He slips my name right now. None of the guys that we got that were all career decent shooters, especially from 3-point range, none of them. I think it was Buford. I forgot this dude's name, man. Anyway, man, bottom line, you know why I don't know his name? Because motherfucker wasn't doing nothing. And so Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, I think they suffered a lot from that in different aspects. And that Elfrid Payton, yo, fam, that cat got to go. Elfrid Payton is the dude for me this season that pissed me off. You could clearly see his favorite target was Julius Randle, and it hindered the development of players, especially my man Dennis Smith Jr., because Dennis Smith Jr. should have been a starting point guard coming into the season. But since we got Elton Payton, we gave that motherfucker the job. And he didn't do a good job. And he was selective on who he was playing well with, and his choice, his selection, that shit didn't work out. It didn't work out at all because he didn't help Randle look good or play better. It kind of fucked Randle up because you kept just dumping the ball to him whenever you got yourself in a situation or position you shouldn't have been. You wasn't swinging the ball to RJ. No, I don't know how many times RJ Barrett was open or was cutting or something, and this kid, Elfrid Payton, would not give him the ball. So trust is another issue we got to work on. We got to get rid of players like Elfrid Payton who don't initiate and contribute to the trust on the team and the chemistry. We need chemistry. We need trust. Maybe they need to go on a motherfucking hiking trip together and sit in the mountains and smoke some blunts and shit. I don't know. They need to do something, but the Knicks need to bond. You can see that there's no bond there. I don't know if there's individuals, but it needs to be some bonding going on. And we need some veterans to step up. Like I said, last year's roster with Markieff Morris, um, Alfred Payton's play, a couple of guys, they took away from the younger guys' development. So I think that we need to chill with that. I think we need to just slow down and just let these young guys play. Get a veteran like Chris Paul to come in, or maybe Mike Conley, if we are going to trade Julius Randle. If not, I think that we need to draft a shooter, whether it be a forward that could shoot or a wing player that could shoot. That way, our penetrators and our post players who can post up like Randall, when he gets double teamed or he reads the double team coming, he can kick it out. And I don't know if you noticed, but Randall had a lot of assists for his position. If we had better shooters, those numbers would go up. Same thing for RJ Barrett. So I feel like I said, the Knicks need to draft some shooting, some defense, and that's it. The point guard play, I mean, we haven't had a good point guard, but it's because of our choices. And like I said, the way we've been developing players. Because to be honest with you, an elite big man like Mitchell Robinson, if you have somebody like Chris Paul or Mike Conley, they will bring out the best in him all day. I agree. But when you have shooters on the team, it makes it easier for everybody to do what they can do, inside and out. So if we get a competent point guard and we have shooters, those point guards will look great. If we get a competent point guard to feed the ball to Mitch appropriately, Mitch will look great. We will be all right, but the key is patience. The key is developing these young guys. I don't want to go get a bunch of veterans like we always do just so we could push for the playoffs to lose in the first round. Let's reach for a dynasty. Let's reach for a legacy. Let's try to build some stability for a few years so we could be in the playoffs for 10, 20 years like we used to do back when Pat and Starks used to play. Let's draft wisely. Let's do what we got to do, New York. Let's get our shit together. Knicks fans, nothing but love. I'm sorry I had to come across the way I did, but yo, I got it like that. Sports Star signing out. Peace, YouTube.